What's up, y'all? Today we have with us Corey, Mr. Hanky Dennard. Mr. Hanky is a hit-making producer of City Girls smash hit Twerkulator and has constructed club-cracking anthems for Young Jeezy, Gucci Mane, Nicki Minaj, Yo Gotti, and Young Dolph. His music became radio mainstays with two chart-topping singles, California, featuring Young Dolph and T.I., and the RIAA Gold-certified smash On the Way, featuring DJ Luke Nasty. The most recent hit, Smile Bitch, Living My Best Life by Lil Duval, featuring Snoop Dogg and Ball Greasy, which was also RIAA Gold certified, and #1 Billboard on Urban Radio for 6 weeks, R&B charts for 12 weeks, and #4 Rhythmic Radio. Mr. Hanky has added the role of A&R to some of today's premier artists, such as 2 Chainz, BRS Cash, Lotto, Renée Rucci, Erica Banks, and Queen Naja. Everybody welcome my friend, Mr. Hanky. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Renee Gibson, the one and only.
we doing full governments today.
Hey, we keeping it professional.
We're keeping it very profesh, very profesh. So like I said, like I was telling you, Corey, I like to have people on who do just, careers that aren't the traditional careers, because I want to show people there's so much opportunity out there and there's so many different lanes that you can go through to get to where you want to get, right? And so, that's what we're going to hop into that conversation as a music producer and some of the things that you've done and the route that you've taken. But before we do that, before we get into the serious part, before we get too profesh, people want to know who you are. Okay, and so we like to play a little game called The People Want to Know, okay? So, first and foremost, if you could hear any song again for the first time, what would it be?
That would definitely be Twerkulator.
Okay, we just gonna throw out our own hits? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah. Maybe another song that's not mine. I would probably say Get Low by Lil Jon and the Yin Yang Twins.
That's a good one too. That still can come on in the club and people will go off. And Twerkulator gonna be that same way. The kids gonna be twerkulating for the next decades, okay?
Crazy.
I love it. So who are your top 3 producers of all time? Are you in that list?
Yeah, me, Corey Dennard, and Mr. Hanky.
I love it, because if you don't love you, who gonna love you, right?
Yeah. I mean, in honorable mention, you got Jermaine, not Jermaine, Dr. Dre.
Okay.
Quincy Jones, and what's the guy that did all of Michael Jackson stuff? Rodney Templeton, I want to say. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm having a brain fart right now.
Okay. That's
I think Dr. Dre, Quincy Jones, and Prince.
Okay. So this is going to come out a little bit later, but we're coming off the heels of the Super Bowl. How do you feel about Dr. Dre's halftime performance?
Man, it was everything it needed to be, because it was the first time that we actually, the NFL is 70% Black, okay?
Go on.
As far as the players. And, it's time, the coaching, the execs, even the Super Bowl needs to reflect that.
That part.
You know what I mean? So, because the last time it was here in Atlanta, it was very disappointing because we didn't get a chance to showcase our Blackness and our what Atlanta really stood for. They had some country band that only 10% of the actual population of the state of Georgia knew who they were. Mm-hmm. And they kind of threw in Big Boy at the end, but we didn't get a chance to show what it was. So I was very disappointed in that, but I think they got it right in LA. So shout out to LA for that. And Dr. Dre, I think it was what we needed. And it showed for the first time, what representation of the actual NFL actually is.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Like you said, first of all, the NFL and our people have been through a lot. We've had a lot discrepancy. So for them to act like they want to give back, or they want to recognize some of the wrongs of their ways, well, show up, show up. And not only that, show a reflection of that city. When you think of LA, you're going to think of Snoop, you're going to think of Dr. Dre, So for them to actually let them have the spotlight and do it the way that we would do it was at Kendrick. I mean, it was
Oh, no.
it was epic. And I'm proud of Eminem for taking a knee, for being the
And I
one.
didn't want about to come back around to that.
Yeah.
We can't forget our albino brother Eminem.
And he showed I'm an ally. I'm gonna go ahead and take that knee for y'all, because y'all might get some backlash if y'all do it, but I'll do it. I'll take one for the team.
And it is what it is. I think that's what's needed in equality. Where other people who aren't like us, they like to say all lives matter, but they don't show up in the right time. So shout out to Eminem, he did that, man. And I think, all white people, people of non-melanin pigmentation should take a page from that and be like, hey, that's what it is. They cost you anything. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing.
They cost you nothing. Just to say, hey, I get what y'all are going through. Cool. A lot of Black people changed my life. They helped me out. Y'all didn't help me. So what a weird, huh? You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things. I think it was dope, man. They finally got it right. They get this culture thing right and this exec thing right. We might be able to do something.
Yeah. And when you think about it, it's not just us that listen to hip hop. A big part of the consuming of hip hop is white people. These kids love hip hop. So come on. It's in all the shows, all the movies.
And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. They think that hip hop is just strictly Black.
Yeah.
It's definitely a global thing. Mm-hmm. And it's taken over hip hop, rap, trap, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you want to give it to. It's the new pop music.
Yeah.
And you don't understand, pop music is not necessarily a sound, it's just what's popular. So it's been that. And even EDM is a spinoff of rap music. They don't do nothing but remix what we do anyway. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's a
we're gonna spiral into a whole nother conversation, but that was good and it needed to be talked about. So what shows are you watching right now, Mr. Hanky?
Besides, what's the one? There's so many new shows out right now, man. Netflix got good shows out. But I watch a lot of, I ain't gonna lie, I watch a lot of the new shows, but I watch a lot of the old shows, honestly. Mm-hmm. I watch Martin religiously. Mm-hmm. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air religiously. Anything that comes on the BET reruns, I still watch that.
Same. Like, I could go line for line on any Martin episode. That and A Different World, those are my shows.
Living Single.
Yes.
Yeah, so
we've had some hit shows. Like we try to, because they don't get the recognition that some of the other shows get, I feel like sometimes they get forgotten, but we've got some hits, okay?
Major hits.
Some major hits. Have you watched the new Bel-Air?
I haven't. I've seen a couple of commercials for it, but I'm looking forward to tapping in with it. I
only watched the first half of the first episode, but it was already pretty good. So,
and if you said it, it's got to be good.
I mean, take my word for it, okay? All right, let's hop into this interview. Give the people what they came here for. So, you've been doing music for a long time. Tell me your earliest memory with music.
My first with just music in general starts from day one with my mother. She's a classically trained musician. Okay. She plays piano and pipe organ and Hammond organ, all this stuff. So this starts from day one with me. And then my sister and I both are trained as well. My sister, her principal instrument is clarinet. Mine was trumpet and piano. Hers is clarinet and piano. And she's currently a band director. So it ran deep from then. And then after that, went to Southern University, played in the band from high school. Southern University, played in the band. And while I was there, I started DJing parties. And I figured out, I just really started, analyzing, movements and behaviors of people while I was DJing. And I was noticing what made this group of girls who really, they don't really dance anything. They kind of stuck up. And I was like, hey, that song got them up. Okay, cool. I saw these dudes over there who thought they were too cool and thought they was hard, you know what I'm saying? And I put on like Before I Let Go, and they started doing the electric slide else, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, dang. So I started making, beats in my dorm room and whatnot. And I just started applying that to what I'm doing now.
That was gonna be my next question. So what were some of them songs that got the people moving?
Ooh.
Who got the bougie girls moving?
The bougie girls, they like, it's still the same songs to this day that get the bougie girls going to Back That Ass Up by Juvenile.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of those type of songs, the Single Ladies by Beyonce, any of the songs that basically said, I don't need a man for shit.
Right.
Any song by Rihanna, okay? Any one of those, Oh Nah Nah, what's the name? Any one of those records, just real sexy records. And you'll be surprised, even some of the hard stuff, like pretty girls do love trap music, you know what I'm saying? I would say Gucci Man and Jeezy, and they would be singing it word for word. I was like,
That's it. Especially down south. And you were born and raised in Atlanta, so you remember the emergence of Southern hip hop. What did that feel like growing up in that city?
It was different, man, because, for so long, all we had was a lot of like, when one of the first hip hop records I ever heard was like Planet Rock.
Okay.
And that's the same song I sampled for Twerkulator. But we had a lot of dance music, local dance music at the time, like this guy named Kilo Ali, Raheem the Dream. And around the time when Outkast came out, they was like our first nationwide hip hop artists. We had locals like Ghetto Mafia and those type of people, but it was a thing to watch because it happened so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying we went from just being like locals, then Freaknik came and whole world started coming in, and that's what really did a lot between Freaknik and the DJs.
Yeah.
And people coming, in town hearing this music that made the girls go crazy. And then Outkast came out, and Dre said the South got something to say. And when you look back, it's almost 30 years now. Damn, it was 30 years.
Sheesh.
Yes.
Oh, no, but I love that you break it down like that, because it did just feel like it came out, being from the East Coast, it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere because we had never heard that sound before, and
Right.
The South has a very distinctive sound, and you hear that and okay, they from somewhere down south, and to like hear that how it evolved from Freaknik, and I was a little bit too young to go back then, to Freaknik, but you hear about those stories and just like how, just how much it meant to that city and how much people would come from all over to travel for this big event, so that's cool to hear the history of that.
And what's even crazier is like now just watching the evolution of the Southern sound, like people like to repackage it. They like to call it EDM. They like to call it drill music up north. Mm-hmm. It's nothing but South Atlanta music rewrapped or repackaged, because there was a time when you could tell where artists were from based off of how the music sound.
Yeah.
Like most Chicago artists sounded like early Kanye, early Common. Now they sound like they're from Bankhead. Yes. And same thing with New York. It's the Atlanta sound has really taken over. Even on the West Coast, there are artists that they sound like they're from here. I didn't know Roddy Ricch spent a lot of time here during his come up, but just hearing him when he officially came out, I thought he was from around the corner.
Yeah, yeah, it shows the influence the South has had on music, period, And when you think about it too, like a lot of Black people have migrated from the South anyway.
Oh
So
no,
when you think about it,
you
yeah,
know where we all came from the South. We all got grandmamas, cousins, aunties, nephews that live here. So,
exactly.
no matter where you're from, if you're Black, you probably taking a trip to the South
Absolutely. For the summer or
for a family reunion or something.
yeah, yeah. So when did you create your first beat?
It happened at Southern while I was in college. Like I said, this new program that was it's a standard now. It's like the funniest shit ever to me right now. I remember when I first got a hold of Fruity Loops, and I was just figuring stuff out while I was working in the computer lab at school, and now it's like an industry standard. So it all started. Yeah, I got the program for free when it first came out. Like it was experimental, so it was crazy.
Wow, that's cool to hear. And so you just took those sounds that you noticed that everyone was dancing to and created your first beat.
Yeah, because honestly, I was on some real like hip hop stuff when I first started making production because it was cool. Everybody was on the Jay-Z wave and stuff and the sampling with Kanye West and all that good stuff. So I had a variety of stuff, and I remember that's when I first met Boosie a long time ago. He probably don't even remember. He was at Baton Rouge as well, but yeah, around that time, and it just went up from there. We're just making music just to sit around in the dorm room and freestyle and do college activities too, and that was it. We was in the studio. I mean, the dorm room vibing. We called the dorm room the studio, but
I was gonna ask you that. You brought up sampling. What is that process like? Because I know you're known for taking samples and making them your own. What is that process like, getting cleared and all that good stuff?
it can sometimes be very challenging. But how I got started sampling, it wasn't even intentional. I just was when I did. I used a lot of samples early on in my career, but I just knew how to hide them and tuck them. And a lot of times it's a process now because it's pretty popular. So
Right.
a lot of times it can be a headache.
People
In the
want
process, yeah, they want their money now. It's the type of thing I try to tell people, like, really, take the time and hire somebody. They have actual services, companies that clear samples for you.
Okay.
So sometimes artists think I gotta call Michael Jackson to have a conversation. Yeah, them people don't want to talk to you.
Right. They talk to my people.
Right. Like they have people that you pay to go, you sample the record. And before you put it out, it's very key. People listen to this. Do not put the song out without it getting cleared. Okay. That's the easiest way for you to lose anything because you lose all negotiating power. You have no say so at that point. If you put it out without it being cleared or at least having a conversation that they're aware of it. You record the record, do what you do to it, send it to the proper company. They reach out to the writers of the song and the person that owns the publishing. Okay. And that's very key because a lot of people think like Kaya got mad at somebody for sampling my back and they never talked to her. Kaya don't own the rights to her song. So they went and talked to whoever owned the rights to the song. And then that person told Kaya, this is what you're going to get paid. This is what we negotiated. And this is what it is. The deal is done.
Wow.
So it's a very big business. And once you do that, you decide on, they give you a number, usually a flat rate. You pay that money and negotiate on the percentage of the song that person is going to own. And that's it. It's really very simple.
Have you ever gotten caught up in that where something was released prior to clearing or?
Boy. like I said, I always refer back to City Girls Twerkulator. It was an eye-opening experience.
Okay.
Because initially we were told no about they refused. They didn't want to clear the sample at first. And it's two samples. It's Percolator and Planet Rock. And my DJ background, you know, the kid in me, the nostalgia part of me, I was like, oh man, this gonna be crazy. This gonna be crazy. People ain't heard Planet Rock in a minute. We finna kill them. We finna kill them. And I didn't know that this old school group called Kraftwerk, the old German electronic group, okay? So I didn't know Planet Rock was sampled from them. I had no idea. So when we was talking about it, they was like, yeah, man, Kraftwerk said no. I said, who is Kraftwerk? What are you talking about? I thought we had to do African Bambaataa, but no. There was a
lot of stuff was samples. Even back then, people were sampling.
Renee, this is the thing about it, and I laugh when people say stuff like this. They like, oh, people now, they're so not creative. And I was like, you do realize there's nothing new under the sun, okay? Okay. So for a song to sound good and pleasing to the ear, it has to kind of remind you of
nostalgia, yeah.
And I don't realize is there's literally a sample. Even if you play something over or just play something that you think is creative, there's so much music out there, so much music that I guarantee you, there's only so many combinations that notes go together that sound right together. There's somebody that could sue for copyright infringement for every song, whether it's a lyric, a melody, a drum pattern, the whole nine. So, you know, but that one was one because Twerkulator got leaked. Okay, it got leaked on the album leak, and it was a nightmare. It was exciting, but it was a nightmare because I never had nothing happen like that before.
Right.
And luckily for me, from my end, I didn't have to deal with that because it definitely didn't come from me. I didn't have to do the whole album, so I had access to my song. And when the song it was such a roller coaster. Like, you go from being excited about this song coming out, and then you get told, no, they're not going to clear it. So you got to be like, okay, well, on to the next one.
The drawing board, yeah.
Then you go to dinner or a bar, and you're looking at your Instagram and Twitter, and people for a whole year was telling me to release the Twerkulator. It was at me on Twitter. My Twitter and my Instagram was in shambles because girls weren't replying to none of them. But they heard my tag on it, and somebody told them that I was the person.
Okay.
And their whole fan base was coming for my neck. I had people in my DMs offering me money to send them to, like, it was wild.
Wow. For a year. And it took that long to get it cleared.
Yeah, because initially, like I said, when it initially got leaked, everybody was like, oh, okay, what happened? Okay, cool. But then at that point, I was thinking it was going to die down. Nobody was going to, cool, whatever. And I just kept seeing, like, it went down for a minute. Then around October, November, it disappeared. I was like, okay, cool. Nobody's working. Keep in mind, it got leaked in June of 2020, maybe June of 2020. So it didn't die down to October, okay? And I'm thinking it's done. Woo. Man, January 1st hit. And somebody was like, man, congratulations. People just kept telling me congratulations. I was like, okay. And so it went on for like a couple of months. I'm like, I stopped somebody. I was like, why everybody keep telling me congratulations? It's like, oh, your song is going crazy on TikTok. I was like, what you mean it's going crazy on TikTok? It's like, there's a dance to the Twerkulator on TikTok. I was like, how? How is this happening? It's not on Apple Music. It's not on Spotify, to my knowledge. And some kind of way they got a hold of it. And the girl, Charlie, that was the main big dancer on TikTok. She went crazy to it. And when I went to her page and checked it out, it was like at 8 million TikToks.
Wow.
On her page alone. So that's when I hit up Coach K from QC. I said, hey, dog, Happy New Year. But I don't know if you know this or not, but we need to go reach back out to them folks and see what we can do. And that was it. We worked it out. And like a month and a half later,
it just blew up.
Yeah.
Love to see it, though. Love to see it. So you mentioned that you were in the Southern University Marching Band, Human Jukebox.
Yes, ma'am.
What did that experience like teach you in terms of how you create music today? How did it impact how you create music today?
Not only did it affect my music, it just affected me in life in a positive way. Yeah. Just to be very disciplined about what I'm doing and very, very, very intentional. Because while we was there, you know, a lot of schools, you know, they considered us to be the top band. Mm-hmm. And I used to think on the outside looking in that they would practice almost 20 hours a day, the way it looked, the way it sounded. But when I got inside, I realized there was a system. There was a reason why we only practiced maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours a day at the most. Okay. But I learned because it's like, it's a system. It's a real deal system. Okay, for this amount of time, we're going to work on this. All right, this is our objective for the day. It taught me how to prioritize, even in my process. So it's like now, I just thought of an idea to do a song talking to you right now. I already know how I'm going to do it. And when I go sit down, I just have to do it.
Let me know if you need my vocals.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Just kidding. You don't want that.
Years now, so. But it definitely affected just the process of it and just taking chances on stepping outside the box, not doing what is so popular and just going left all the time. One thing about all the records I've always had is while everybody's doing all this, I'll always go left. And that's why
I love it. And it's worked for you. Okay. It's working for you. So you mentioned how you got started. You found this program. You were working in the computer lab?
Yes. I was working at the computer lab at Southern University under Dr. Ryder. He's retired now, but he's one of the ones that taught me. I was actually going to be a band director. But it was wild that he and one of the other band directors, they were like real advocates for music educations and teachers and stuff. And they both pulled me to the side. It was like, you don't need to be no teacher. You need to do this. I was like, do what? He's like, you're good at this. So normally in the education setting, that's not happening. You know, they're saying, hey man, you should be, you know, we need more education. Mm-hmm. They was like, nah, this ain't for you. You deserve it. You need to be out there.
Yeah.
So it happened on the computer lab.
Okay. I love it. The mentorship. Okay. So how would you say networking, like you just said, building those relationships, how has that made an influence on how successful you've become?
Everything. Like I tell up and coming people or people just trying to do anything in any kind of space, whether it's creatively or business, your network is everything, because I'm pretty sure there's people who can make beats better than me or sound better, or people that can rap better, people that can, there's no matter how dope you are, there's somebody doper, but they don't have the necessary connections to get that or to have the conversation to even get from point A to point B.
Right.
So the biggest, the most important part of the music industry is when the music's not playing. Mm-hmm. People really don't get that. When I say that all the time, it's like, what do you do when the music stops?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's your plan? So I think, and it's not even just from the part of working with execs. It's more the part of networking counts. You know, I see a lot of people, they clout chase. They only want to network with the people who got blue checks on social media or they work label. I didn't even know I had a blue check. It was crazy. People was telling me congratulations again, and I didn't know what was going on. And they was like, you should have a blue check party. I was like, what? What is that about? It's like, you're verified. I was like, oh, okay.
They don't send you an email or nothing. They just throw it up there.
They probably did, but I ain't check it. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But networking extends to security guards, bartenders, just everybody, because they know somebody's cousin, somebody's girlfriend, somebody's little sister. And I try my best to treat everybody as if they're the CEO. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how I got a lot of stuff with the Twerkulator, with the City Girls. The guy that hooked me up, he ended up writing on the song as well. And I had met him on some kicking stuff at a studio with this other artist that really wasn't going nowhere. And he just called me out the blue one day. He's like, hey man, I'm going to the studio with City Girls. You got something for me? I was like, okay, cool. I didn't know if he was lying.
Mm-hmm.
He really knew these people, but I treated him as if he was Coach K. I treated him as he was the CEO to QC. You know what I'm saying? So, and you see what happened. Same thing with Queen Naja with her record. My boy EJ, who's the head engineer at the studio she records at, he just called me out the blue one day. He's like, hey man, Queen Naja in here, pull up. I didn't know if he was lying or not. I got there, it was really Queen Naja in there. And she was like, hey, I want to do this song called Love is Blind. And I want to take this Eve sample. And we started out right then and there.
Wow. That's everything, not just in the music industry, you know, like in whatever industry you're in, the way you treat people always comes back around. Like you say, you don't know who you're talking to, you don't know who they're connected to, and you don't know, even if they are the janitor now, you don't know what they're going to work their way up to, you know, and it's just a good way to live life, period. You know, treat people how you want to be treated. You get taught that as a kid, but it's very, very important. And you hear that so much about how someone was nice to the assistant, and that assistant, believe it or not, has a lot more say than you would think with the higher up. And now they put in a good word for you because of how you treated them. So people need to just keep that, like, ain't nobody above anybody else.
Come on now.
Everybody's just as important as the next person, and you'll see it benefits you.
There you go.
So when you're making a beat, I know sometimes someone might just tell you to pull up so you have a particular artist that you're working with, but like when you just go in the lab by yourself, is there a particular artist you typically have in mind? Like, what is the creative process for you?
I definitely got an artist in mind. Like I said, going back to my training at band, I learned how to be intentional with my time. And I'm like, okay, this would be great for this person. And I already got the beat made in my mind. I probably got a hook in my mind, what the song need to be about, if it's a feature on it. And like, I think that's the difference between the beat maker and the producer.
Yeah.
I'm not sending out beats and stuff. I'm literally pulling up on you, or we having a FaceTime. I'm like, yo, the song need to be about this. Okay. You need to have a thing on it. And I might sing a reference to it. I might, you know, because I got vocals too.
Okay, me.
I might, you know, put a vocal. I might put a reference on it just to give some guidance on it, and really put it together. And at that point, you know, it's just about what fits with artists. You know, every artist might not get it, and you just, okay, if that artist don't get it, cool. I'll send it to this artist. You just got to keep shooting your shot.
Okay. And I think most musicians have a little bit of voice, even if it's a little bit, because you got to be able to find the key and make sure you're in tune and all that good stuff. So I'm sure you got them in there. You got some Boys a Man or something back there, right?
You know, I got a little bass thing going on.
Okay. Oh, you got some Barry White. That's
what Barry White. I ain't out here I don't want to get everybody, all the women excited, you know.
Exactly. You know they
I
gonna
don't
be.
want to push it, you know.
Look,
'cause
you thought your DMs was flooded before. They really about to go crazy. Talk about congratulations, okay? Okay, so tell us about the first time you heard one of your records on the radio or in the club. Describe that feeling.
I probably had the worst reaction to it because first time I heard one of my songs on the radio, I did the most nigga shit that you're not supposed to.
What you do?
So I was working at General Motors for like 3-4 months before they closed here in Atlanta. My dad used to work.
You was kicking trash cans? Is that what you were? I'm on the radio. I'm out of here.
Even worse. I was on some Dave Chappelle shit. I was like, I'm rich, bitch. You know what I mean? It was a Monday. I never forget. And it was like in the dog days of summer. It was like 1,000 degrees in there. And it was a song called Never Slipping by this group called the Cadillac Boys. So the Cadillac Boys decided the College Park Music and D-Lo Entertainment, which is Kirk and Rashida from Love and Hip Hop. Okay. So, make a long story short, I came out of my shift. It was like 3:00 in the afternoon. And literally, I cut on the radio. It was hot. Took my shirt off. I'm sitting up there. I was like, oh, it's hot. I got to back home. I cut the radio on 107.9 Atlanta. And my song was being played. I heard my tag. Woo-doo-woo-doo-woo. It's 3:00 on the dot. And I just sat there in the car. I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like in the middle of the day, not late at night, not 3:00.
Right.
During the afternoon, the whole city is hearing this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, this is crazy. This really working. It really can work. So I went to the studio later on that night. Congratulations, you know, kicking it with the fuzz. Now, keep in mind, I was supposed to be back at work at 6 a.m. I went to the liquor store and bought a VSOP.
Yes.
It's a pint of it. And so normally I'll be in the bed by like 9, 10, because I got to be at the place at 6. I didn't leave the studio till like 1:30. We ran through that whole bottle of Remy. I got home.
Nobody's job in the morning.
I woke up and the guy over me, I was a manager as well. I was a supervisor manager as well. And he called me, he said, hey man, where you at? I picked up the phone. I said, hey man, look, I'm not coming in. I said, I'm not coming in. He said, what you mean? You sick? I said, I got a song on the radio. I'm out.
I'm out. Click.
Other adjectives as well. Because he had been messing with me anyway, so I was already over it anyway. But that was just my confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And dude called me. He was blowing me up, man. He's like, man, all right, man, come on, let's talk about it, man. Come on in, just whenever you get here, we'll talk about it. I said, there's nothing to talk about. Got a song on the radio. I'm rich as fuck. I don't need this. When I tell you I went off on the deep end, I was like, I don't have, those are broke problems. I don't have those.
Those are broke problems. I'm rich.
I'm rich. Now keep in mind, I'm still like hungover, like to the max, right? And I'm literally leaning over the bed like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm literally talking. The worst decision I ever did. But luckily it worked out.
Luckily, because I'm gonna lie, I probably would have done the same thing. Like, this is my break. This is my opportunity. I ain't seen that check yet, but guess what? I'm rich. Okay.
And see, that was the most iconic moment. Then I started hearing it in the club. And, you know, honestly, no matter how many songs you get or whatever, how many hits you have, it's like that never gets old. Like, you know, you have an idea, like even with your podcast, you know, You started here, and next thing you know, the Renée Gibson show.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? You because they're saying you the modern day Oprah and stuff. That'll never get old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things like even now, like I'm thankful for it. It's wild to have an idea. You like, I think it'll work and have the tenacity to stay with it. And then you're in the club or the arena and they singing your stuff word for word.
Right. Now that's gotta be.
Right. I mean, you're in an arena in a stadium, 60, 70,000 people, and they going crazy.
Yeah.
There's no feeling like even when I did Living My Best Life, that probably was the craziest one of all time. Because that wasn't even planned. That was just, let's try something. We was only supposed to be in the studio for like 10 minutes to do an intro for another record. We did that, and while we was in there kicking it, I was like, man, let's do a song to that smile thing you're doing. You're like, all right, cool, let's try it. And we did it. It started as just an experiment. The next time we got in the studio, he's like, hey man, we need to get Snoop on this. Snoop did his verse and he put it part in the hook. And he was like, man, who else we need to get on it? It just kept building. So it never gets old.
So it started as an intro.
Yeah, so we linked up to do an intro for another song for this guy named Bebe out of Dallas. He's a big time radio DJ. Matter of fact, the song Hey Bebe is about him.
Okay.
They play my song, Turn It Up. So shout out to Bebe, man. We did that. And it took about 10, 15 minutes for him to do that part on Bebe's song. And so we had the studio for like another 3-4 hours. So we was in there kicking it, you know, how we do. Both in the style and just vibing. And this thing, you know, I was like, I pulled up some beats. He went in there and did Smile Bitch for 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wow.
No Living My Best Life or nothing, no verse or nothing. Just Smile Bitch and him dancing around. And it worked, So that one is the one that's always trips me out.
Yeah, that's so dope. And like you said, like it's always something, a new level for you to be excited all over again, like it's the first time. Because with Twerkulator, then the TikTok thing, there's always some new level for you to be like, man, this is new. Like it's a new experience every time.
Yeah, it's a real blessing. I can't even lie. It's because you got to keep in mind, like it takes so many things for a record to be a hit. So many things have to go right. The timing of there's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
For not to work, but it takes so many things. The timing, who's all involved, even to the point of what's going on in the world, what other records are hot.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Man, you mentioned a few of them already. You had Twerkulator, you got Living My Best Life, California. Like you got some of the biggest club bangers of our time. Is that always the genre you were going after, like the up-tempo hip hop, or are there other genres that you want to break into?
I guess that's just what resonates with me from my DJ background. Because I do understand tempos, understand BPMs, understand vibes. I've done records, like more vibey, not single-driven records, like the Love Is Blind record with Queen Naija is just a great record, you know what I'm saying? But that wasn't the goal. It was just trying to make a great record, you know what I'm saying? So there are those, but for some reason, this club and Billboard, hitting the charts, it works well for me.
Right. If it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Okay.
So what would you recommend to someone, because you talked about a little bit about the journey with the inconsistencies of the music industry, for someone who's looking to break in, or maybe has already broken in but is in one of those low points? Like how do you stay relevant? How do you stay motivated and keep moving with all the inconsistencies?
Man, that's the most amazing question. Nobody's ever asked me that. You got me thinking. How I deal with it is basically I don't get, a lot of people call me humble. But ain't really, I'm really like, I really be feeling myself, but
Keep it real. Keep it real.
yeah, really be feeling myself, but I've seen a lot of people come and go,
Right.
you know? So I still feel myself. I still know I be feeling like I'm the shit. I be feeling like my shit better than everybody. But at the same time, I don't get too high off my wins. I don't get too low off anything else. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of, that's one of the main approaches. And I'm always looking for the next thing. Like I found this young lady, one of my homies introduced me to. Amazing. But I'm always looking for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
I don't caught up on, like even when I saw you last time we saw each other in California,
Mm-hmm.
to what Dolph's video shoot when we did California.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, even then when I was out there, after I saw you, I went immediately to the studio and made like 20 other songs. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go out to, I mean, we did go out later on, but I got my work done. You feel me? So I just stay working, stay looking on the next project, looking for the next artist, next single. Like it's a nonstop thing. So that's the key. Don't stop working.
Don't stop. And like you said, don't get low. I think one of the things that knocks people off is when you are in that low point, you get low with that, and you have to keep working. Like you said, don't stop just because things look a little dry right now. Keep working. That didn't work. What Leah say? Brushed it off and try again, right? But no, honestly, like I feel like that's one of the things. And two, I love what you mentioned too about the way that you work, because I think that a lot of us feel like, I'll sleep when I die. I gotta work. You gotta work smart, okay? You don't have to work like to the point where you dig yourself in an early grave. You gotta work smart and be intentional about your time. And that again is with any industry or field that you're in. Like create, like prioritize and create a schedule based on what is most important and getting the things done without like stressing yourself out. Like life is too short. I am big on celebrating, okay? And like you said, you went out and then you went back to work. Like I feel like you should celebrate your wins so that you don't get that burnout, but you are able to like, look, I did something good. Let me celebrate this. Then I get back to work.
And then, honestly, that's why the divorce rate and feel is through the roof, because I look online and these guys be in the studio at 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Hanging on machines. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I don't know no black woman or no woman who go for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm single now, but if I were to be like, married and with kids and stuff, like, ain't no way. That's not happening.
Life balance. Like you need that.
Exactly. Like it's not reality. And when you finally start to have kids and stuff, you don't want to look up and it be, next thing you're holding them, and the next thing they're getting ready to go to college and walk out the door. You're like,
they're like, I don't love you. Yeah.
You've been here and turning up, that's whack.
That's so whack. I feel like if nothing else, this pandemic has taught people the importance of balance. Because I feel like that was the main thing, the main drive for people is like just work. Like that makes you feel proud or whatever. Yeah, you can be proud of your work, but then your family's neglected or your friends are neglected. The people that have been there for you when you were in your low points are not getting your time or not getting your love. So I feel like that's so important for people to learn. If nothing else, like I feel like I was like, slow down, like pace yourself and stop trying to do everything, because you're not even going to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, the pandemic was the best time of my life. I ain't gonna lie. To actually sit down and not have to be nowhere,
right?
Like, it felt good. Like, what you got to do today? Oh, nothing.
Yeah, I love that was my excuse, that I didn't have to go nowhere. Oh, you know what? It's not safe out there. It's not even safe. I can't go,
Like right now, I'm like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right?
That's my go-to. I love it. So what are some of your goals for the next few years? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Uh, like I said, my main goal is on the music side is just to develop different artists, because ultimately that should be the goal of any producer, is not to be chasing other people's artists, but to have your own to put out as well. If you look at all the greats, look at the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
All those stage at some point came through Dr. Dre.
yeah.
You know, there's no Snoop without
Yeah.
50.
Mhm.
I mean, Mary was the only one, but you know, that's Mary, but still, um, that's the goal musically. Personally, just to be a person, man. Like I said, just to have work-life balance. Um, you know, become somebody's husband, somebody's father, you know what I mean? And just right off into the sunset, you know what I mean?
I love it. You don't hear a lot of men say that. So I love that.
Uh, I mean, it's like, how much turning up can you do?
I'm saying. I'm saying, like, I feel like a lot of men feel like they are invincible and that they have forever. Because I think most men want that, like marriage and children is a goal. But I feel like they feel like a lot of men feel like they have forever.
Well, this is the other thing too. It's like even when you was here in Atlanta, believe it or not, I was tired of going out then. Okay. I was completely utter it. I just wasn't at the level. I still needed to be out because I hadn't got to where I am now.
Right.
Okay. But now it's like I'm not going nowhere.
I know you still be out there though. You still be out.
Don't let my Instagram fool you.
You working though, right? You working.
No, Steve. This is what it is. I've learned the art of gathering content.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So now when I post stuff, I'm not even there. I've been gone. I've probably been gone from there maybe 2 weeks ago, you know, or whatnot. So I don't know the real time, you know. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that that's really cool, and I feel like a lot of um a lot of men need to be honest about that, you know, about what they really want, because I think that, and that's why I have, you know, my other show where we talk about that and trying to bridge the gap between men and women, because I think there's a lot of miscommunication about what we really want in the long term. And it's the same thing. We just go about it differently. That's all it is. That's all.
well, and the other part, like I'm gonna be honest, like most of us are stupid. When I say stupid, I mean men. Okay,
Mhm.
we're because we live in a fantasy world to where like we feel as if like once we get in a relationship or we get married, we're gonna be missing out on all these other trillions of the women of the world
Weren't there
that
before.
that don't even know that most of us exist.
Right.
And so the truth, I mean, and then like the meme says, you know, social media thinking everybody got a million options. It's the worst thing ever. It's social media got everybody thinking that
Oh. Mhm.
that they access to everybody, and it's not the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cause you
So it,
ain't, yeah, like you don't, it's so funny, like you said, we look at social media and we think that we can get what we see other people. You're not even in the same rooms as those people. You know what I mean? You don't have the same access as those people.
and I'm gonna tell,
We want the red bottoms, we want all the things we see these people rocking, and it's like, girl, sit down.
but not only that, it's like you might see these people, they might look good, and then when you finally meet them, and they open their mouth, and you're just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So it's
They're
like
so broken. Like,
they're so broken, they're so damaged, like they need therapy. Like it's just layers of trauma, and you're looking like, okay, this ain't what I thought it was. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of that false sense of reality, that false sense of access. That's what I like to call it.
I love it. I love it. I love this conversation. It's been dope. We went from the start of your music career to love and future. So, you know, we got the people got a little bit of everything. Okay.
I ain't trying to end up like Future and Kanye. I fuck with them, but my boy,
That
my boy Ye going outside right now. So
you don't want to be battling over no girl over on Instagram and the Twitter. Like that is not, that ain't gold.
that ain't P. You know what I mean? That ain't P.
That ain't it.
It's crazy.
Not at this point in life. You Kanye. Go sit down.
Crazy. So, but that's why I'm putting out my own singles now. I got a single with Erica Banks.
Okay.
A party record called Nutty Twerk. Erica Banks featuring Ricky Coins. We just got added to BET Jams yesterday.
Yes.
About to put us out 100% independent through my label, Cultural Resources. So, you know, I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about long-term stuff.
Yes.
You know, and I'm getting ready to put out another single too with Moneybag Yo. Somebody else, one of these other female rappers, you know, go crazy.
Go crazy. Do it. And you're doing it. We're proud of you. I love to see it. Keep doing what you're doing. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you for joining. Say that again.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah. I actually watch your podcast and stuff, so I've seen it grow. Like, I've seen it grow.
I appreciate it, because sometimes the people closest to you don't even be, you know, supporting. So I appreciate all the support.
Yeah, I'm liking this stuff. So like, people, man, that's a whole nother conversation. Like,
ain't it so? That's a whole nother podcast. But no, let the people know where they can find you, how they can keep up with everything that you're doing.
They can follow me on all social media at Mr. Hanky, BAMRHANKY BEAT. I'm on everything. I'm mostly on Instagram, but I'm about to get back on Twitter, TikTok a lot, Twitter. I'll be on all of them.
You gonna be doing some of them TikTok challenges? We gonna see you. How we gonna see you doing the Twerkulator? What we gonna see you doing?
Nah,
it's for the ladies.
I gotta draw the line on some of that stuff, man. Some of that stuff just ain't meant for grown men to be doing. You know, it's you know, especially the Twerkulator part, because it's talking about a man spending money. So yeah, I can't be out there talking about these rich niggas throwing paper. It's time for the Twerkulator.
Right. Big facts, big facts. So, Mr. Hanky, thank you again for being here. Thank you for joining, making this a dynamic duo. Okay, we love to hear it, and we enjoyed you. And until next time, I gotta get back to Atlanta. Like I said, I haven't been in Atlanta in a minute, so I'm gonna come out there and come holler at you.
Come on, pull up on me. I'll show you how I'm totally on the whole grown stuff now. We go out. It ain't gonna be the same like it was.
But we home by 11.
Home by 11.
We didn't leave till midnight, so okay.
I be in the club now. They be like, "Boy, what you doing?" I said, and I have these glasses on. They can't see. I be knocked out.
Knocked out. I've been there. Well, thank you again. Thank you for joining us. It's been fun. Thank you everyone for watching Name a Better Duo podcast. Until next time, I'm Renée Nicole. Have a great week. Peace out.